Agentic commerce is different. We've essentially given these B2B distributors and wholesale companies their most valuable resource. We've given them 20, 30, 40% more capacity to do strategic things, means sell more things, sell more widgets. So agentic commerce, I think, is really, really the moment that B2B has been waiting for, because it's actually purpose built for these sellers to make them more efficient.
All right, Jason. So you guys launched the Agentic Commerce Alliance a couple weeks ago, right? And
Yep.
when I saw it, I said, man, we got to hear about this and hear what it is. All the words are my trigger words. Good trigger words, not bad trigger words for interesting things. In fact, the last couple of weeks of podcasts, we've had a lot about agentic commerce and kind of exploring this new world of AI and some of the practical applications. So when I saw it, I said we have to jump on and talk about it. I mean, just tell me why this was needed. Why did we need to have an Agentic Commerce Alliance? Kind of what was the precipice for it, for you guys coming up with this?
Yeah. Well, let me set the stage a little differently, if you're okay, Justin.
Please.
I'll answer the question, but one of the things that's really exciting about Shopware and why we started the Agentic Commerce Association is because it's a meaningful fork in the road that you only get a few of these in your career. And it's this moment that's so important that the technology is going to change the way business is done, that it's really a big opportunity for us to bring the industry together and say, how should this happen? And so if you think about other meaningful forks in the road, mobile, when it hit, everything changed. Social, when it hit, everything changed. The way that teams were built inside of organizations, the way that P&Ls were constructed, the way that marketing was done. And AI and agentic commerce are going to be the same. It is a paradigm shift at the way business needs to be done. And so we saw this as a moment and said, how do we, as a market leader in the open source community of the way commerce is done, help bring people together to go solve this problem, talk about it, and really kind of direct the future?
So what's kind of the core kind of philosophy behind the alliance itself?
Well, couple of things, and it's a little bit of a story, but very few companies have their founders from 25 years deeply involved in their business on a day-to-day basis. In fact, if they do, they're more in senior leadership roles, and they're really just managing teams as opposed to kind of doing the work. And what Stefan Hamann, one of the co-founders, the chief nerd of the business, recognized is that he was seeing all of this innovation that was happening and realized that, hey, I need to take my 25 years of experience. I need to really step away from the operational functions of being one of the co-CEOs of Shopware and really put my hands on the keyboard and really dictate how this thing could come together in an open way. And so why Shopware is because we're an open commerce platform, because we don't do vendor lock-ins, which makes you choose certain technologies or partners. Because we're supported by an ecosystem and a community, because all those things are true, we have less of a profit motive to be biased and drive things a certain direction. We can create an alliance which basically best ideas, most open wins. And we think that's the recipe for success in a world where, there's going to be a lot of wrong decisions and a lot of right decisions, and nobody knows what those are at this moment in time. So the one that we know is probably the right is to be open and basically allow for a bunch of experimentation.
So I've talked to quite a few manufacturing distributors over the last couple of weeks. There's this kind of thing that's happened where we missed the boat in email. When everybody's printing money in email, we missed the boat. We missed the boat in YouTube when everybody's printing money in YouTube. We missed the boat on social when everybody's printing money on social. Missed the boat on mobile. Now missed Bitcoin, and when everybody was literally printing money on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now we're here. I think there's this overwhelming group and majority probably an industry where the people are like, okay, I'm not missing the boat on this one. But, and there's a really big but here, which is what, like, where is this going? So
Yeah.
the name of it is the Agentic Commerce Alliance. That word agentic is different from AI. What like what is agentic versus AI, and why the difference between the two, from you guys' perspective?
Yeah. Well, I love the setup, by the way. You think about all the places that the B2B distributor might have missed out on. You talked about Bitcoin and mobile and social and all these forks that I referred to earlier. A lot of those were primarily B2C centric
Mm-hmm.
use cases. And if they're not, they're really this consumerization of B2B, which you and I have talked about, which is really only meant to serve a small portion of the business. If you're a billion-dollar business, you might have a $20 million e-commerce business, but the lion's share, 97, 98, 99% of your business is still done in the hands of the sales reps through, relationship-based sales, modified rebuys, those sorts of things. Okay. And so most of the trends that have come and gone or come and still here have really served a different use case than most of these B2B companies today and where they make all of their money. Agentic
Mm-hmm.
commerce is different. Agentic commerce is basically saying, hey, listen, if a sales rep, if we can make a sales rep more effective and more efficient and better at their job and basically give them a time machine to free up where they're really strategic, relationships, talking about pricing, negotiating, and they spend their time with that, and they spend less of their time doing things that are operational and required, but non-strategic. Well, then we've essentially given these B2B distributors and wholesale companies their most valuable resource. We've given them 20, 30, 40% more capacity to do strategic things, means sell more things, sell more widgets. So agentic commerce, I think, is really, really the moment that B2B has been waiting for because it's actually purpose built for these sellers to make them more efficient.
That was kind of the promise of B2B commerce. Like, and it was loosely done. I think it was done in ROI calculators by big time consultants. I'll put myself in that list of creating quite a few of those. That was kind of the promise. Why is agentic a different level of that?
Well, it all depends how you apply it. And I will say, I lived through, you and I have talked about this, I lived through the era of the consumerization of B2B as if it's going to be this massive unlock for
Mm-hmm.
companies. And um, again, there are exceptions. Granger's amazing. There's a handful of others that have just really embraced digital
Mm-hmm.
and they have a huge B2B business. That's the exception, not the rule. Most companies have a website and take some advantage of digital. But again, it's the smallest percentage of their overall revenue is comes in digital. That's the rule, not the exception. And so what was done wrong was digital effectively competed with the sales team. And so what happens is you get the arms crossed of the sales reps. They know that if they give their customer to digital, it's digital's customer, it's no longer theirs. And so you have this unintended friction inside a lot of these organizations where they view e-commerce as a competitor. And it's not always the case, but it happens more often than not. Okay. Agentic commerce is different because what we're ultimately saying here is, guys and gals, this is how we're going to give you more time
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to take away the stuff you hate. I've never met an e-commerce person who's got a list of things to do that they get through every day. Everybody's making trade-offs between the things I have to do and the things I want to do. Agentic commerce is this big liberating function that says we're going to take all these things like, you might go and look at your competitors every single day to see how they're pricing their products. We're going to create an agent that goes out and says, I'm going to look at these 5 websites on these SKUs. I'm going to come back and I'm going to automatically adjust the pricing range at which you can sell these products because you differentiate on pricing. Right? It's a use case. That is a perfect example of agentic commerce that
Mm-hmm.
says, I'm going to take all this blue collar work off your plate. I'm going to automate it through agents. and we're going to come back and let you be strategic around how you package and position and sell, because now you have a tighter range and you don't have to do that work. So that's just one use case. There's 1,000 we could come up with.
So the alliance itself,
Yep.
who are you intending to be a part of the alliance? Like, who should think about joining, being a part? How do they get involved? Like, what's kind of the goal for that kind of expansion?
Yeah. Well, we are open. And so our core ethos is that everyone is welcome. Okay. And so we want agencies who are thinking about solving this complex commerce use
Mm.
case around taking agentic commerce and making your clients more efficient. Okay. We want companies who are thinking, hey, what is the next era of e-commerce and how do I level up my teams? I want to have a say in basically how these things I could contribute the way that my company works and the way my sales reps work and the agents that would be valuable to us. And so if you're a merchant, you can join the Agentic Commerce Association. And finally, tech partners. So there's a whole bunch of automation that can really come to the table when the payment providers, the tax engines, the warehouse managements all come in and say, you know what? I want to lend my good thinking to how we can add to how agents can perform and automate a lot of the blue collar work that's done in e-commerce.
Mm.
So we believe that when all these companies have an incentive to work together and they aren't forced to only work with certain providers because of contractual relationships, the industry will be better off.
What's your gut feeling on the need for standards as we do this? I mean, there's words kind of thrown around. We've addressed it a little bit on other podcasts like MCP and things like that. How do you guys think about creating standards for this? Because I think this is going to go. I think there's a real chance of EDI being replaced for the first time since the 1960s, right, or 70s when it was invented, and EDI being replaced. With that comes things like how do systems talk to each other in this new agentic world versus the hard-coded world of EDI. And it brings up to me the question of kind of standards and where they fit in to all of this.
Well, especially in B2B, I think it's absolutely mission critical that we
Mm.
start to publish some standards and there's so many disparate systems of record inside of these B2B companies. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll never get over the fact that one of the most impactful things that we do in demos for merchants is not show them how cool some of these new features and functions and agents work, but it's actually showing that when you change a price in the ERP, it changes in the commerce system in real time.
Mm.
That one standard use case has been a door opener to dozens and dozens of merchants who deal with that pain today. So until you get to a spot where you can start to talk about the standard way at which things can be done, most of these B2B brands with systems of records that might be older and longer in the tooth, they can't adopt them because they're running on systems that don't support it. So standards
Mm-hmm.
are really, really important. And that's part of the mission of the Agentic Commerce Association is to create these standards and let other companies start to modify their product and the way they work so that they work with these standards. That's the big unlock in B2B.
How are you guys thinking about kind of structuring the leadership committees that will start to work through some of these?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say at this point, we're a little overwhelmed with the amount of demand. We have hundreds and if not more of applicants, and we're kind of running through how this is all going to be structured.
Mm.
The one thing that I know for sure is that Stefan Hamann, again, the original author of Shopware, has his hands on keyboards, and he's going to be instrumental at picking the governing board and the process and the member committee and how we make progress against something that's really big really quickly. But I don't have a good answer for you on that.
It's evolving. That's all right.
It's evolving. Yep.
There's some, as I was kind of reading through the website, there were some terms used on it that I thought were interesting that I didn't understand. So maybe you can clarify them. So in your current initiatives, I think one of them said, what are, my question is, it talks about ambient storefronts. So my question is, what is that, and how do you see it kind of Like, why is that one of the first initiatives? The other one I saw was instant returns. I think those are the two
Yeah.
use cases I saw.
Yeah, and there's a list of about 50, but part of the story around ambient is making sure we're not losing track of that we're in the experience business in the B2C side, and we're in the uh what's the word I'm looking for? Basically the curation part of the
Utility.
world. Yeah, utility. Yep, that's a better word. But but so for an ambient example, what we're really talking about is making sure that we get to a spot where we're going to deliver, and this is really a B2C use case in my mind, but a mass dynamic personalization where
Hmm.
you are able to deliver to me in my context a product you think I want with the visuals that would make me want to buy it. And so that mass dynamic personalization basically is me getting to the kind of end-to-end marketing dream that everybody has had. And we think AI can help unlock that. From a B2C side of the world, figuring out ways to really romance the product, whether it's through a parts explosion, whether it's through rotating the product, zooming in, zooming out, all the things that really help you interact with a product, that help you really know that it's exactly the right one. You and I have talked about this, Justin. In B2B, in B2C, it's all about romancing it. In B2B, there is a right answer for a lot of the time. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to get you to that part for that product to make sure that it's exactly the right one. So how we get you through that journey and do it really elegantly and inspire you to purchase, even though there is the right answer, is all kind of tied up into ambience. It's just a fancy marketing word for all those things.
Amazing. So let's talk about how we can get people involved. So if you're a merchant, agency, SI, how do they get involved in this alliance? What are some good next steps for people to learn more information about it?
Excellent. Thanks, Justin. Well, I would encourage you to look up the Agentic Commerce Association. Yeah, it's a .org, so it's a nonprofit. Anyone can be a part of it. We'd ask you to go check it out, see if it's right for you, and apply. If nothing else, we can have a conversation to see if it's a right fit for you. Again, Shopware is just being a steward to try and move the industry forward, and our goal is to be open and inclusive. So we would love to have anyone come and check it out.
I saw a I saw I think something from you guys about Shoptober Fest. What's that all about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So Shoptoberfest is an event in New York City, September 16th in Brooklyn. We rented out the largest beer hall in the state of New York, and it's really a really cool venue. But essentially, it's 250 people. That's what the fire code has capped us at. But it is for merchants, it is for technology partners of Shopware, and it is for our agency partners as well as industry luminaries like people from your association. In fact, one of our people who's helping leading it works with you. Um,
Who's that?
eh, Sarah, yeah, Sarah Falcon.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so let me come back. And yeah, so one of the people who's helping MC it is actually Sarah Falcon from your organization. She's
Amazing.
phenomenal. Yeah. But if
I
you
did
have,
not I didn't even know that.
yes, well, we have six different podcasts that are broadcast live from the event from some people you probably listen to and know. And there's no Shopware commercials at all. It's not about us, it's
Wow.
about the community. And so we've got 8 TED Talks from unbelievable brands. I think 6 of them are in B2B. And we basically drink German beer the whole time while we work. It's a network and a community building event. And in my mind, it's the best time in e-commerce. And so if you are a B2B merchant and you have any interest in attending the event, check out Shoptoberfest, powered by Shopware.
Amazing. And that's agentic-commerce.org is the website. We'll put it on the show notes and in the blog and all of that. Amazing, Jason. I appreciate you coming on and helping us learn about this. I'm excited about. I'm just excited about alliances like this. I just think they move the entire industry forward. So we definitely support you guys as a group as well.
Thank you for your support and love being a part of your association.
Manufacturers, distributors, leaders in the zone. If you're building B2B, this the podcast throne. The industry's heartbeat, we're setting the tone. Turn insights to actions, it's how empires are grown. We're talking change management, breaking resistance. Strategies so sharp, they redefine persistence. Customer adoption, it's more than retention. It's building a movement, commanding attention. It's the B2B e-commerce show, where the vision is clear and the strategies glow. From the top of the globe, we're the pros who know. Turn the volume up loud, it's time to grow. We bring news, big topics, insights to spark. From the boardroom's glow to the warehouse dark. Digital transformations, the path we're paving. Helping you lead through the change you're facing. This is more than a podcast, it's the industry's voice. Giving you the tools to make the right choice. No fluff, just facts, no hype, just action. The show where solutions are more than a fraction. It's the B2B e-commerce show, where the vision is clear and the strategies glow. From the top of the globe, we're the pros who know. Turn the volume up loud, it's time to grow.
This is your guide to the digital race. Practical advice, no time to waste. So tune in, gear up, and let's own the space. It's the B2B e-commerce show, the industry's base.